much. I hope I'm unmuted enough. I really have enjoyed so much hearing from everyone, so many different perspectives on this issue, and thank you so much for organizing this, Wahid, and I also think, yes, celebrating the Declaration on Human Rights from the United Nations is so important. And Neda, I really enjoyed your comments, so many of them. I've been writing about what I call hidden women, the women who through the years have been extraordinarily important and we don't know about them, you know, for various reasons, as you know. But I also, maybe you said, but one of my heroes is Rosalind Franklin, who did the photograph of the double helix and didn't get the Nobel Prize with everybody else. And, you know, so but I loved your focus on the coffee shops, on the ability, on the focus on getting women out there being mentored, with their own, with the mixing of men and women, the ability to change, to share each other's talents, to mentor each other. You're saying tech needs women and women needs tech, and I was thinking the world needs women and women need the world, and men need women and women need men. And it's just, it's by working together that we really realize the whole ambition of the Declaration on Human Rights, that we realize the incredible potential we have to change the world when we do it together. So I really appreciated your comments, and it's been very, very exciting to hear what everyone has to say. I am supposed to introduce some of the poetry to this conjunction of ideas. Oh, I did want to say one more thing. When I was in 7th grade, I became an activist, but not in the way that we're thinking of so much today with my focus on people, although it turned out I was focused on dams and on the destruction of the earth, and I was very much into the arts. So Abu Simbel was going to be lost, this wonderful temple on the Nile, and then they moved it, right hundreds of miles away, and it wasn't on the Nile anymore. And I was so upset as this little 7th grader that was my initiation into being concerned about the world, the art of the world, the people of the world who are creating that art. And so that, you know, that was just one of the issues that really challenged me. I did think about this idea of ethics and tech, and my first poem is devoted to that. Also, we do remember that this is the first day of Hanukkah. So I'm bringing in some of our spiritual values to this because I think it's extremely important. Not just the Christian, the Jewish, the Christian, there's a touch of the Islam. As you mentioned in my introduction, Tara, I've always been a bit syncretic, as they say, by bringing in religions from all over, thinking that it is the great thought of humanity that brings us forward. And again, comes back to my idea that we need to share our thoughts, our ideas, our art, and our muses. So this is Hanukkah begins today, meaning dedication. Advent has begun, waiting for rebirth. A pandemic sits with us. We wait for a vaccine. We expect science and technology to deliver. We are isolated, often with computers our only company. We are polarized. We cannot mingle with our neighbors. Our world is warming. Our forests and oceans threatened. Children are separated from their parents at our own borders. We cannot find them. And we ask our computers for answers, for algorithms to combat our own failings. Islam tradition tells us the temptation in the Garden of Eden was not fruit, but was wheat. That was wheat that led us to farm, wheat that led us away from nature, wheat that led us to learn and experiment, led us to find industry and technology, led us to think and learn and find computers. And God said, that's good, but be careful what you wish for. So we spread our parks with artificial turf. We don't have to mow it or water it, but that gave us cancer. And we feed deathly plastics to whales and birds in our acidified oceans. We invent lethal tires. We infuse our crops with pollutants so they may resist weeds and insects and pollinate the world with industrial seeds that suffocate nature. We create a world that strangles itself, created with computer knowledge, fed by us, and wonder what we wished for, and ask, as in every fairy tale, for another wish, one more chance. The rededication of Hanukkah, the hope for rebirth of Advent, the growing of wheat as it once was, a technology that will teach us to plant according to the laws of nature, that will teach us to live without harm, that will teach us not to encroach on nature, but to live as partners with our planet. We ask, as in every fairy tale, for one more wish, that technology and the great spirit of love and humanity might grant one more wish, that we might use our technology always in harmony with the great laws, not of man, but of nature. And there's this little poem that was written by Grace Noll Crowell I want to put in here. It's so indicative of the season and somehow suggestive of light and children. Grace Noll Crowell wrote, "A child looked up." I'm thinking all these children I hear. I'm just delighted to hear the children in the squares. "A child looked up with earnest eyes. Where does the light of a candle go when I blow it out?" And not being wise, I could only answer, "I do not know." "It was so little and bright," he said, "and now it's so little and lost." And I, turning and tucking him into bed, as puzzled as he, could not reply. So little and bright, so little and lost. Over and over the brief words came. A moment ago the candle tossed. Here in this room its vital flame. Where is it now? And where are we when life is blown out? Nothing is lost, it cannot be. Our souls will be flames released and thinned, passing their swift way through the air, climbing the chasms, cleaving the night, to be cupped by the hand of God somewhere. So that's for all the children we hear of today, and those who are having birthdays, maybe their first very soon, and trying to blow out their candles. I still have a picture of my first child with his first birthday cake. This is kind of tech in a way. It's called, and it's really technology and seeking the truth. And actually, Obama hit on this epistemology, which is what this is about, in a speech lately. So this is called seeking episteme. We are wandering through a pine wood of crisis. The woodsman who cut with his axe through truth, chopped the episteme of balanced logic in small bits, placing those bits under his pillow at night to wait for the truth fairy, who never came. We are wandering through a forest land of chips of truth, flung from a discarded pillow over which the truth fairy flew, since she found nothing wholly true, since there was no news to be rewarded, and the pillow of chopped bits of logic was uncomfortable. So the woodsman emptied it into the woods. The woodsman emptied bits of truth upon a path children might discover. Children might collect bits of truth and wonder how to reassemble logic. Their first lesson in epistemology, finding balance, reasserting chips of truth, to place the pieces together and learn to relearn the world, to realign the world, finding an axis of truth.